I believe we are live. Let me just double check on the event page here. Gotta love that dead air. Okay, so we are live. So let's see how many people are viewing right now.
Yeah, you just tweeted it out, so
maybe we'll give it a minute or two here.
now for everybody who's already joined up, you're about to participate in Coinigy webinar Wednesday, so we'll get started in maybe just a minute or so as we let a few more people join up.
Okay. Yeah, so we're just gonna kind of be doing this bi-monthly, so every other week, every other Wednesday. This is my first time actually hosting a Hangout, so please bear with me. It's going to be a little bit rough to begin with. I'm still kind of learning the ropes here. Just kind of, going to shoot the breeze a little bit, give everybody an update as to our progress with Coinigy, show you some of the new features we're working on, give you a little opportunity to, ask some questions and get some answers. And we'll just kind of shoot the breeze a little bit, talk crypto, and then Brian from the Rational Investor and Julian are going to take over and do some technical analysis. I believe tonight they're probably going to do some Bitcoin and a couple altcoins, so it'll be kind of interesting to see, how they actually create their TA, kind of live as it happens. So let's see here. Rob, feel free to add some color commentary while I try to pull up this link.
Okay, so by process of elimination, you may have figured out that the person who's just talking is William from Coinigy. I'm Rob from Coinigy as well. And as he mentioned, we also have the Rational Investor here.
Hi, that's me.
Yep, Brian and Julian. And as soon as we go through a few things about Coinigy that we wanted to point out, we're going to hand it over to them, as William stated. You think we're ready to get started? Really?
Yeah, I think we can just go ahead. If anybody, okay, there we go. So we have 9 viewers, a whopping 9 viewers, but that's good enough for me. So people can watch the recorded broadcast later, or if they join up later, that's cool.
Yeah,
so I guess
the middle of the night for half the world. So.
Yeah, we scheduled it a little bit late. We might do this a little bit earlier, just depending on how schedules work out. Brian's actually on the West Coast, and Rob and I are both in the Midwest, so we kind of settled on this time just as it was convenient for both of us. So Rob, why don't you, I guess, take it away? You're going to be sharing your screen to start with.
Yep. So for those of you who are using the web app, you'll see you should see, I think, somewhere on the event screen, the different people who are participating on our end broadcasting. And if you look for the one that says Rob Borden and click on that small preview, it should bring my screen into focus if you haven't used this before.
Oh, I think we lost Rob.
That was interesting.
That's good.
Oh, and he's back.
Sorry about that.
And he's back.
That's a little misclick there.
Oh man, we're just gonna have to cut out the whole first 20 minutes of this. But
isn't that how every Hangout is? I haven't been in one that isn't like that. So, anyways, here should be Coinigy screen. William, can you see that all right?
Yep, I can see it.
Okay, so I'm logged into an account here. I'm just going to show you a few things about Coinigy that you may not know if you've only really used it for charting and looking at trade history and order books. We have a few other nice features that we want to make sure users know about and are able to take advantage of. So one of the main things we wanted to highlight today is how Coinigy manages your balances and how you can keep track of your balance history over time and monitor your portfolio with Coinigy.
Yeah, and just to chime into a quick update, if there's anybody out there that doesn't know what Coinigy is, if this is your first time seeing it, Rob and I are both the lead devs, co-founders of Coinigy.com. It's a cryptocurrency trading platform that allows you to attach your existing cryptocurrency exchange accounts via API key, and then you can actually, place trades through Coinigy itself, monitor your balances, view high def charting, share charts, all that fun stuff. So just figured I'd get that out of the way.
Sure. So what you see here is one of our two balance screens, and you can see that I have a whole bunch of different accounts added here, and those are listed down the left-hand side. Those you can add into the system by going to the accounts page. What you see here is a mix of exchange accounts and also wallet addresses for Bitcoin and some other altcoins. So you can track a balance on a wallet address across over 100 altcoins, as well as Bitcoin, and then as well as on almost all of the 24 exchanges that we're integrated with as well. So once you attach one of those accounts, every day Coinigy will update your balances automatically, and it will keep a history each day of what the balances were, and you can take a look at your current balances, and you can do that across several different accounts. So all of these accounts have just marginal amounts of funds in them, but you can see you can view them in a sum total altogether or individually using these check boxes, and you can get a US dollar value for everything that you have selected. And this will also show if you have held balances, because of open orders. And something that's a little bit more interesting is the charts view. So across the top here, there's the table view that we were just looking at, and then there's also this chart view. And here you can see the distribution of your holdings by coin and across the different exchanges that you have selected, or the different accounts that you have selected over here on the left-hand side. And you can also see a daily balance history of what the balance was in that account. And you can change the date at the top, and it goes back daily for right now the full history that you have since you attached the account. And so once you, oops, I think I screwed something up there.
You went back in time.
Yeah, I selected the other side. Have to add some validation there, I think.
Yeah.
So anyways, if you set your date like a normal person would and you hit refresh, then you can see this long daily history, and you can export that data then to Excel. So this is obviously pretty jumbled because there's a lot of data points, but you can export that to Excel and use it for your own purposes. And this all happens automatically, even if you don't log into Coinigy and you don't do a manual balance refresh, which you can always do at any time. But the system will do this for you without logging in. And you can also enable a daily balance email digest of all your accounts and what the balances are. So you can just monitor that on a day-to-day basis, and it comes right into your email.
Yeah, just to reiterate, that the daily email balance thing is pretty damn cool. It's kind of similar to Mint.com. So you can basically, attach your exchange accounts or wallet addresses to Coinigy and literally get an email every single morning of your balances. And I don't think we have the BTC value on there yet, but we will have the BTC value there. And then, as Rob mentioned, since Coinigy kind of operates in the cloud, once you have your accounts attached, you're able to, Coinigy will automatically basically pull in your balances every single day for every single account that you have attached, and update, keep a running tally of your balances over time. So if you're kind of trying to build up wealth, this is the ultimate platform for that.
Okay, so I just wanted to show real quick the area where you add the accounts, just so it would clear up any questions with that. So I'm going to log into a different account here quick. And if we go to the Accounts tab, you can see on the left-hand side, we basically have 3 different types of accounts that you can add, and they're all managed over here on the right, the ones that you have added. this is a demo account, so you can see people have just added some garbage data. But you can add exchange accounts from any of these exchanges that are listed, and you do that using the API key and secret that you will get through your exchanges interface. And this is what provides the extra level of security from trading through Coinigy, because you can limit the access that this key has, and you can control its permissions separately from your main login credentials.
Yeah, and just to add too, if you want to track a wallet address, all we require is the public key. You know, we don't require the private key for your wallet address. So we're just querying the blockchain once a day to pull in your balance, and you can also actually do that on demand through the site. And if Rob can pull it down, it doesn't look like the select boxes are working on the screen share for some reason.
But, oh, really? It just all of a sudden it changes?
Yeah, it's all just changing.
So there's well over 100 currencies right now that you can track a wallet address, and if you have one that you don't see we list, you can just put in a support ticket, and if we can find an API out there that's available to get that data, we can definitely add that really quick for you. You can also see that we have the service integration section here, which just includes the Slack bot that we created, so you can attach Coinigy to your Slack channel, and then you can do queries on our data from Slack. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, and we're going to be expanding upon that too. With at some point, we're also working on our public and private API, so we want to kind of tie in Slack with that as well. So you'll be able to actually basically place orders through Coinigy using Slack, get your balances, view your open trades, your open positions, all that kind of stuff. So that will come in time.
So one thing I wanted to point out that is a little bit unclear for some users is if you want to use Coinigy just for balance tracking, you can basically keep this trading checkbox disabled, which it is by default, and then you won't even have the option to trade with that key. If you do want to trade with that key under Coinigy, you do need to check this box on the accounts page to enable that for trading. So another thing we wanted to show you, and for this I'm going to go back into an account that does have some real keys attached to it, is our stop limit orders, and just explain what that is, and also explain some of the other order types that we're going to be adding in the future.
Just to add too, if there's anybody watching through the actual Hangouts link, if you guys have any questions, we opened up the Q&A app, and I think you're able to ask a question through that, and it'll pop up for us. So I'm still kind of new to this. I'm not 100% sure how it works, but I believe if you ask a question, it'll pop up there, and we're more than happy to answer any questions you may have.
Okay. So I've logged back in here, and I've selected Coinbase Exchange right now. We recently launched trading on Coinbase Exchange, and we're also going to be launching trading on Banks.io in the next couple of days, and also finishing out the rest of the exchanges that don't have trading yet. And there is a page that you can get to from our main website at Coinigy.com that lists all of our different levels of integration with all the different exchanges that we offer. So right now I'm on Coinbase. And you can see up here that I have this Coinbase account active. You can add multiple accounts for the same exchange. So if you wanted to trade on a different Coinbase account, that would be available in this drop box here. And right next to that, you see the price type is what we call it. And by default, it's just a normal limit order, which is what you're accustomed to using for the most part on all the exchanges, where you set a price that you're willing to pay, and when the market gets to that price, your order will fill. Right now, we offer another additional order type, which is called a stop limit order. And with this, it allows you to set an extra parameter called the stop price. And what this does is it keeps the order off of the books at the exchange, until the stop price is hit. And then once the stop price hits, it will place the order that you specified with the 3 normal fields using the limit that you specified. So this allows you to hide your order off the books basically until a certain price is hit, and then triggers any type of order any type of normal limit order that you would want, whether it's buy or sell.
That's cool.
The stop price, yeah, thanks, Brian. The stop price, it works the same way as our alert prices work, which is if you set it below the current market price, then it's going to trigger when the current price drops below that stop price. And if you set it above the current market price, then that will trigger when the market price goes above your stop price. So in that case, when you set a stop price above market, then you would normally set your limit order a little bit higher than that so that you're able to catch that as the price moves up. You can use this to protect your losses in a way, but it's not a true stop loss order because it's not going to trigger a market order. So if the market price is moving rapidly, say downward, obviously, then it might move past the limit price you set before your order makes it to the market, and in that case, your order would not execute.
Right, and with a true stop loss order, you risk slippage. However, with a stop limit, you don't have the risk of slippage, but you have the risk of the order not actually taking if the market shifts downward too quickly.
Right. So that's a little bit about our stop limit orders, and that's a good segue that William provided into some of the other advanced order types that we're going to be offering soon.
Yeah, so probably the most notable one in the near future is going to be market orders on the exchanges that support it. So what that entails is essentially Coinigy itself is going to be telling the exchange to place a market order at a certain price, and the exchange's internal order matching is actually going to place the market order. We're not going to provide anything and call it a market order unless it's going to be a true market order. And the same thing with a stop loss. There's sites out there that they claim that they're offering a stop loss. Well, in reality, all they're offering is a stop limit with perhaps part of a trailing stop, but I don't even think the majority of them have that. So what we're doing is, when we offer a function, we want to make sure that it's 100% legit. In addition to market orders and stop loss orders, we're looking to add conditional orders. I mentioned trailing stops, order legs, also indicator-based orders. So we also have, in addition to the TradingView library that you see that we use for charting, and one note on that, we're 100% independent from TradingView. We just happen to use their charting library, and what that means is we're collecting and feeding all of our own data. So everything you see is coming from and to Coinigy servers. We just happen to be displaying that data using the TradingView charting engine. So in any case, at some point, we also do have an internal technical analysis library at our disposal. So once we get our API rolling out, you're gonna actually be able to query our API and kind of get a data point on any market at any time. So if you want to see, the RSI for BTC USD on Coinbase Exchange, you're gonna be able to actually query that via our API, and you'll also be able to place orders and alerts based on certain criteria on indicators. So lots of fun stuff to come in the near future. We're kind of wrapping it up here. We just wanted to give a quick overview. It doesn't look like we have any questions here. One thing I did want to mention is that we're planning on offering a referral program. So Coinigy right now, it's a monthly subscription platform. We feel that it's definitely worth it, basically because of the support and the stability and the integrity that we offer. Rob and I are, we both work day jobs right now, but we're still, constantly on Coinigy support and Coinigy chat. Those users that know us know that we're always willing to, go the extra mile to help our users out. We're extremely focused on data reliability and scalability and stability of the platform. So where other platforms may go in and out, we're actually majorly focused on 99% uptime. Okay, so we have a question here. Thanks for providing such an awesome service. How far is the team along from releasing the iOS Android app? Okay, so the Android app is on its last legs. Not last legs, it's on its final legs. um, we have the charting working, we have order placing working, we have alerting working, adding exchange accounts, the news feeds working, switching accounts. It's almost ready to go. There's just a couple like really nagging bugs. The app crashes at certain points. As far as I'm concerned, the next release, probably within the next 2 weeks. I don't know if Rob agrees with this or not, but we should be able to start letting people on the alpha or beta, whatever we want to call it. We're getting to that point.
Fair. I mean, I think it's at a point where a lot of developers would have already released it to people.
Yeah,
we're just at the point where we want to make sure that it's really solid before we release it and that people don't have trouble with it and have a bad experience.
Yeah, so I mean, it's safe to say probably 2 weeks. I hate to be held to that unless there's any major issues, but probably 2 weeks before we start kind of feeding the beta out. And then as far as iOS is concerned, that's going to come in time. That's probably I don't know, I'd say 2 to 3 milestones behind the Android app, but we are currently working on the iOS version.
I mean, the main functionality of it is mostly finished, but it's not really anywhere near as close as Android. But
right.
I wouldn't think more than 6 to 8 weeks away.
Yeah, that's probably fair. So yeah, okay, got that out of the way. Yeah, so I think that's pretty much it for us.
You were going to elaborate, I think, a little bit on the referral program.
Yeah, so right. So as far as the referral program is concerned, what we're planning on doing, and we're open to user feedback. If people don't like this idea, by all means, tweet at us, let us know. But what we're planning on doing is anyone that you refer to Coinigy that actually purchases, so if they actually sign up for Coinigy itself, we're going to pay $15 into your account. And that can be, I don't know if we're going to do it in BTC yet or US dollars. We might just do BTC, but the idea is, you'll be able to bank that money inside your Coinigy account, and you'll be able to either apply it towards your Coinigy subscription by clicking a button, or you'll be able to withdraw that money. So that's kind of where we're at, and also that's going to be effective retroactively. So anybody that is currently signed up that wants to give somebody credit for referring them, you're going to have the option to enter their referral ID, and then they'll get credit. And then that's the same thing for you. If you referred somebody, they can enter your ID into their box, and then you can get credit.
And we have another question on the Q&A about if we could add price percent notifications on the alerts. That's definitely, the whole alert section is something that is coming due for a pretty good overhaul right now. And that would include price percentage notifications. It also would include volume notifications of a certain amount or percentage
like block trades
in a given time frame. Say that again, Brian?
Block trades, like show actual big blocks that are traded. That would be awesome.
We have something that we've been kind of pondering over called Whale Watcher, basically. That would be kind of like a live feed of large trades going in and out. And that's kind of the first that's the first step to that type of alert. So once we have the Whale Watcher system working. I can't give an ETA on that yet, though.
And then once we get those basics that I mentioned, then we're also going to be looking to expand it to do some indicator-based alerts, like William mentioned, based on an RSI or any kind of typical TA indicator that you would use, so that you can get alerted when the indicator hits that mark.
Cool.
All right. So,
I think that's it for us.
yeah, I think if there aren't any more questions from anybody,
Can I ask a
um,
question?
sure,
Sure.
certainly.
Sorry, I don't know whether I'm allowed to ask a question or not. But anyway, um, um, I don't know whether I'm allowed to make reference to another site, but
Sure.
just out of curiosity, I was at a seminar actually last night, and for some reason it was just the first time I ever seen it. But Bitcoin Wisdom has like one page, like their front page, that has a whole bunch of cryptos all on the front page, and they're all
Yes.
sort of just ticking away. And for a guy like me who likes to watch sort of the whole universe, I'd love to show you that, and I'll show you it later.
Yeah,
But I
we're
guess
aware of it.
my question is just simply, do you have any plans or anything for like a quote page or something where we can just see like a broad universe all on just one page?
Yes, 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 yes.
We
And
have thought
that's
about it,
kind
yeah.
of what we envision the overview page to become on Coinigy. It's just a matter of development priorities at
Yeah.
this point.
I also want to
Okay.
mention, I think the ticker, especially after we changed it, a lot of people maybe don't realize what the ticker at the bottom is showing right now. So I'll take your question as a quick opportunity just to explain that. The ticker shows the top 25 markets by BTC volume over the previous 24 hours. And normally if you don't interact with it at all, you only see the first 5 or 6 depending on how wide your screen is. But you can use your mouse wheel or your scroll capabilities on a trackpad if you put your cursor down there. And you can see, if you scroll to the right, you can see the top 25 markets. Now, I know a lot of them get taken up, Brian, by BTC USD across various exchanges, and what you're asking for would be kind of a deeper dive into some of this data, and I do think that's a good idea, and I agree with you. But I just
Yeah.
wanted to take it as a quick opportunity to explain what you see along the bottom. Usually, if
Cool.
you do get over to the right side, you'll see like Bittrex, our coin that is showing as having 203 BTC volume.
Yeah.
So there
Okay.
are some altcoins over here, but if you never scroll down here, which it's not necessarily like an intuitive thing to do, you wouldn't even realize that some of that data is over there on the right-hand side.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you.
All right, well, with that, I think we're going to turn it over to Brian and Julian from the Rational Investor, and they're going to walk us through a technical analysis demonstration.
Okay. Hello, everybody. As you can see on my screen, I'm slightly partial. I love this website. It's totally awesome. And it's kind of a real privilege here to be with you tonight and talk a little bit about good old Bitcoin and maybe some tools here that can help you maybe just improve your odds a little bit to get your edge moving in your direction a little bit more, improve your trading performance, and really, this all comes down to we want to make more money, right? One question I have for the Coinigy team. We did a few videos, and everybody here should be able to see the tutorials that I'm going to talk about tonight. So I'm wondering if the Coinigy team has a link that we can give out to the public here to be able to see these videos. Can we find them
They
somewhere?
are they are not public yet.
Oh,
we
okay.
we still have a little bit of work to do on the intros and that kind of stuff. But I will post them underneath the YouTube link once they're live here.
Okay, so everybody knows where they can find them. Um, I won't go into too much detail tonight about how we use the various indicators, but really my goal here tonight is to try and help you just understand when you see a technician's chart like this, what you're actually seeing. And maybe, like I said, in the future you can apply some of these tools to help in your trading plan. As well tonight, I thought maybe we'd just take a quick moment, talk a little bit about our site near the end of the presentation. I've got my partner and co-founder of the site, and frankly, I couldn't do any of this without him, Julian. Here, maybe he'll take a moment later on, talk a little bit about the site itself and some of the features and benefits. Julian, do you want to say hi to the gang?
Hello, everybody.
All right, there he is.
I don't wanna steal Brian's thunder, so
Oh no, no.
I will present later after you show off your
Right.
go through the chart.
Okay, so the end result of what we're going to talk about tonight here is really, like I said, I'd like for you to have a chart that looks sort of like this and understand some of the simple messages that you see here. So what I thought I'd do is, why don't we just start from scratch, right? I love the depth of the market and the incredible sort of interactive user experience that this Coinigy gives you. Oh, it's just so beautiful. You got to understand, I come from a world where we used to get our price charts in the mail, and I used to have to manually go in and write these bars on every single chart.
That's
So
crazy. Pardon me, but that blows my mind.
So, I mean, you guys, for anybody who's watching this video, you just need to understand how much the world has changed, right? But, for the purposes of this video, like ideally we want to get to here, right? But why don't we start here just with a brand new clean chart? As you can see, I just basically logged in, loaded up sort of the default, and I love how you can just type in your symbols here. So, what's really cool with my group, and we can talk about the website later on, is I get guys that have crypto wallets just on some of the most unlikely of names for exchanges. I'd never even heard of them before. One gentleman was talking about Polyanex or whatever. And I had never heard it before. And he was like, oh, of course, this is and teaching me about crypto. And hopefully the audience can understand just a little bit about me. I come from the trading world. I worked in the stock market for the better part of 15, 20 years. I guess technically I got my first job in 1988 in the stock market. So, I mean, you do the math. I've been around forever. You know, I actually don't know, so I'll tell you. I was a full-service stockbroker, commodities broker, options broker, basically written every license you can in the securities business. Back in the days when you used to get your charts in the mail, right? I lived through the dot-com boom, and I traded through the dot-com boom. And really, the only reason why I think I can even stand in front of you and tell you that a little bit that I seem to understand the market and how to use a lot of these tools is just because I have like 20 years experience in the trenches. I've done every kind of job you can imagine in the business, from being a proprietary crude oil trader for a firm that would fund me to, as I said, being a broker and being a runner. And so the good part about that is there's very few stories that people can really put by me that I haven't heard before. And what's really interesting, of course, about crypto, right, is this is basically a whole brand new genre, and a really enthusiastic community. I absolutely love the enthusiasm of the crypto community. And what I've really noticed, unfortunately, and as a broker, I sort of knew this myself, is that there are a lot of sort of pitfalls that when it comes to investing in any asset, they just seem to follow the same sort of things. A lot of cliches that we use in the stock market that are very applicable for Bitcoin. All right, so enough of my background. I've been doing this a while. We have a really fun website that we have and a school that we teach. So if you are interested in learning any of my techniques, we'll talk more about that later. Let's, get on to the chart. So we've loaded up Bitcoin here, trading on Bitfinex, right? We can load it here, and then, maybe you say, what, I trade on BTCE, right? So I want to be over here on BTCE. Well, so be it. Coinigy lets you flip over there nice and easily. you know, a lot of my audience, they like Phoenix. In fact, they get kind of angry at me when I post BTCE charts. So that's another conversation altogether. All right, so here we are. We've got a nice daily chart of Bitcoin. We're wondering, you know, is this the bottom? One tool that I'll point out to you at the beginning of this conversation is, and you know what, maybe, let's see, does BTC have the bottom on, yeah, it does. All right, so let's use BTC because it has a nice floor to work with. One of the tools that we did on a video tutorial for you guys, and like I said, Will and Rob will have those links for you very shortly, is what are called fib levels. And people are really interested in these Fibonacci retracements. I'm not going to go into too much detail about how fib numbers work. I'm just going to simply use the tool for you. What we're going to do is just simply measure the range of price. It's just that simple. And really what we're doing is if we see a big bull market, all we really want to do is just ask, okay, how much of that bull market is the market going to take back, right? And we can measure that as a percentage, right? So if we put on our simple fib tool, and I just went over here, you see there's a whole bunch of horizontal lines. And I just simply draw the 2 points where the 0 is up at the high, and I just eyeballed this for, you know, quick. I suppose we could take a minute or two and figure out exactly the right numbers, but just for demonstration purposes, you can see that this level represents 32% of that range taken back. This level here represents 61% of that range. This level here represents 78.6, etc., all the way down to 100%. What we find, and this is just a simple sort of time-tested principle in the stock market, and really any asset, commodity market, bond market, currency market, is markets like to retrace a good 61.8. That's a nice natural level for them to retrace if they are in retracement mode. And if they are really a bull market, then they'll often put up a real fight around this 78.6. And we actually call this the optimal trade entry zone. And it's just simply based off of fibs. In fact, here's a great example of that. I'll just quickly show you. And really, we don't have a heck of a lot of time, so I'm not going to spend forever on this. But there was an altcoin recently. What have I done here?
I think you just need to zoom in on the chart more.
That's right. There we go. There was an altcoin here recently that I actually did a meeting in Vancouver, one of these meetups yesterday, and I met a gentleman who was trading this altcoin, and he had learned about this from the fundamental side. It seemed like a pretty good fundamental story. So here's a demonstration of that OTE principle, optimal trade entry principle, on a little altcoin where the optimal trade entry zone turned out to be just absolutely incredible buy locations, right? So time after time, I mean, this thing just kept cycling through. I mean, just beautiful, bang, 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 right? Just fantastic trades. And yeah, I mean, suppose the interesting thing is you say, okay, now, Brian, what is it going to do now? What's it going to do now? And, you know, I mean, really, I would just basically be applying the same principle. So there's the high, there's the low. You know, I might actually consider, if I got, you know, some other technical evidence to buy, maybe to take another whack at it in here, as you can see here. So going back to our Bitcoin story, it really shouldn't surprise us. And where was I? I was over on BTCE, wasn't I? Look, yeah, I mean, I love how you can just zoom in and around and all over the place, right? You can just do such quick charts here. It's so awesome, right? Okay, so here is our optimal trade entry zone for Bitcoin right now. And so what's really interesting, and this is what's really caught my attention, of course, is we remember the market really tried to bottom here through the fall, right, and just fell apart here, right? And you can see how the market has actually tried to recapture this 78.6, or what we call the line in the sand. And so it's actually my general belief that if the market can recapture that, then this actually becomes a very interesting market structure bottom. Typically, when we're thinking about buying, we want to buy W's. W's are market friendly. If you're going to take anything away from today's session, try and understand that M's are bearish and W's are bullish. Right? Just that simple. You can see the incredible M right up here. See you later. Right? And really, actually, we had a nice W here. Didn't translate into a huge gain. And what's interesting is the M actually came in right at the exact same level that the W came in. So really, anybody who bought this W, they actually got the signal to just, walk away from the trade right here, right? We had a little fake out W here, and actually when we broke this low, I was like, oh boy, a lot of hearts got broken in Bitcoin land. So you can see that we're really trying to W here desperately, and it's interesting that that's happening right off the 78.6 fib. So a couple of really cool things. That's one of the tutorials that we're going to be, we have a video that we've produced for you guys that should be on the Coinigy site, or, at least I think we're actually putting together another page, aren't we, guys?
Yeah, I think we'll have those up, if not tomorrow, the next day. We just have a little bit of editing to do. So,
all right.
And we'll post them in the comments on the YouTube video for this as well.
Okay, cool. So another video that we did, which was kind of fun, is we actually did a momentum video for you, and I tried to demonstrate how I use momentum in the trade process. Well, the thing that jumps out here is, you guys, just a moment ago, remember I said that M's are bearish and W's are bullish. Well, same thing applies with your momentum studies. So you'll notice that, and I like to use this MACD histogram. You notice here, for example, we had a really nice M. Bang! Breakdown, right? And what did price do, right? Real meltdown. Look at this little M right in there, right? And that, I think corresponds to that failure right in there, right? Little bit of a W. Can you guys see this W right here? Zing, 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 right? Excellent, nice little signal there that translated into this rally. So look at this beautiful little M right here. See you later, right? And down she goes. So what are we doing actually right now, right? Because you guys are like, that's the past, Brian. I want to know about the future. Well, this is actually quite interesting. We have, you can see, actually little W here, and now we actually have quite a bigger W here, right? Down, up, out. See that? And yet, at the same time, we actually have falling prices. Prices are actually lower, even though momentum is not. This is actually what's called a bullish momentum divergence. And it's interesting, in the school that I teach to people that want to learn how to trade, I am adamant, absolutely adamant, we must have 3 reasons to take a trade. And we call those setups, right? You probably heard professional traders talk about setups. Basically, a setup is, if this happens, and this happens, and this happens, I will take a trade. So hopefully you can understand that we're actually getting a little message here in price that, hey, price actually isn't as weak as what price itself is leading you to believe. The internals of this market are much stronger than what price is leading you to believe. Very interesting. So if I was considering a trade setup, I could definitely say one reason to take a bullish trade, a buy here, is bull momentum divergence. Not bad. In fact, a lot of the trading plans that my students come up with, we have this as one of the reasons. So this is interesting in itself. As we are speaking here, it almost kind of looks like Bitcoin's trying to get our attention, isn't it? We look at the higher time frame, and we use that fib study, which is one of the tutorials, right, that we did. And again, like I said, the MACD is another tutorial. And that identified the fact that on the higher time frames, we're actually in a very interesting trade location. Hopefully you can understand, and this is sort of a simple thing that new traders just need to learn. Some people learn it, some people just don't. But the key to being successful as a trader is not being right 100% of the time. In fact, if you actually ask that of yourself, then you're asking too much. We're human. We make mistakes. We're not perfect. So if you start building yourself like, I have to win on this trade, you're actually setting yourself up for failure. What I like to teach in my programs is just a simple idea that, hey, we're not perfect. We're going to make losing trades. It just happens. The key to being a successful trader over the long term, though, is not being 100% right. It is making sure that when you are right, you get paid. Indeed, we have a simple rule that says we just need to ensure that our average winners are bigger than our average losers. If you take this OTE, that's what this is called, the OTE, Optimal Trade Entry Zone. If you take this trade here, what you're actually saying is that this is a trading range. This is the top end of the range, this is the bottom end of the range, right? And if I buy this, I am going to risk against the bottom end of the range. And my target is actually going to be a test of the top end of the range. So if that's the case, then I actually have a built-in 2.27 risk-reward ratio on this trade. If you can get into the habit, and new traders, this is really important, you can get into the habit of only considering trade setups that have a 2-to-1 risk reward, then even if, let's say, you took the trade, and you'll notice that even though Bitcoin prices have crapped out here, this trade is not stopped out, right? The key here, right, is you have to have the patience and the discipline. Maybe just taking OTE is not enough of 3 reasons, right? Do you see a bull momentum divergence here to take the trade? Maybe you don't here. You know, I think we did have a nice little buy signal here. If people followed me, I don't know whether any of the audience remembers, we actually called this trade here the trade of the year for 2014. It was interesting when it happened. I labeled that, and it turns out that from the long side, that was about the only really good trade for 2014. Anyway, long and short of all this here is that OTE, for example, is a professional trading strategy in that your risk reward is set where if you're right, you're going to get paid twice as much as if you're wrong. Okay? Now, maybe OTE, and let's add that, right? We'll say, no, first a reason is OTE, right? That's fibs. Reason number 2 is we want a bull momentum divergence. Well, we happen to have one now, so okay. We're below OTE, we have a bull momentum divergence, and now hopefully you guys can see even within the greater context of this bigger trade, there might actually be smaller setups on the lower time frames. So if we look at this, remember that OTE principle, right, ranging markets, right? We can actually break this into a trading range itself, right? Maybe you wait for a nice W to take a trade off of here. Maybe you wait for this bigger W, right, off of that. The point here is that what we really want to see if you're thinking about taking a trade is 3 reasons, right? Maybe this shouldn't be so big. Let's put this down to like 20, right? Maybe the last one is, and it's another concept that we teach, is this concept of market structure. Right? And isn't this cool? These Coinigy charts are just so flexible. I love how you can just use them. You guys got to understand, I mean, I hate to say it repeatedly, but I came from a world where half of this stuff, it was just, you just dreamed about it. We are so lucky to have this stuff right now. So maybe you have a trade set up here, OTE, bull momentum divergence, and now all I'm waiting for is my market structure signal, W's or buys, right? Give me a nice breakout through the top here, and hopefully you can see how this is a trading range breakout or a W, right? Hopefully, I don't know whether you guys can or not. If you can't, then by all means, tell me, and we'll address it. Okay, so hopefully you can see, kind of like what we saw here. What I really want to see, maybe reason number 3, is let's let this nice W come in, right? And the cool thing is that would be right off the line in the sand, right? That's 78.6 fib. Frankly speaking, I'm going to be taking this trade if it happens. That's a darn good looking trade. All right, so we talked a little bit about fibs. We talked a little bit about MACD. We have a couple other tutorials, but I do see that we have about 10 minutes left. We can leave it at that for now. In fact, you know, the irony of it all is, I hate to say it, you guys watching, it looks to me like Bitcoin might actually be giving us a trade setup here very shortly off the higher time frames. So this is great, you know?
Rob, did you hear that? We need to go all in.
Not yet, not yet. Right, what's really
I'm
cool,
kidding.
and basically what I've been telling people is we're in a trading range, right? It was really cool to see, you know, if we talk about OTEs, right? Hopefully you can understand that was a daily perspective we're looking at, right? Really big picture, right? If you drill down to like the 4-hour charts, right, hopefully you can appreciate that this is a trading range, and those OTE principles apply there as well. So that means, right, here is the range trade short setup window right up in here. And lo and behold, I mean, look at this. This is so beautiful. I mean, it was just fantastic. There's the high end of the range, right? Look at what we had develop here. We had, boom, higher highs, but look what momentum did. This is so cool, right? There to there. What did we call that? Do you see that? That high is, or this high is higher than this high, but this high in momentum is lower than this high. What did we call that? Will, do you remember? Rob? Anyone? Anyway, there
Sorry.
is a bearish momentum
divergence.
That's right. Thank you. Good job. Well done. Right. So the point of the matter here is, hopefully you guys can see, and this should probably be red, right? Is that on the first initial test of the top end of this range, the market failed, right? And we could actually do 3 reasons, couldn't we? Check out this, right? Where's our little 3 reasons box? So this was 3 reasons off the higher time frame. Well, you could do the same thing off the lower time frames, right? And really, you know, this is, we talk about in our course programs, we talk about building you out as a trader, identifying what time frames you want to trade off, what your profit potential is, how much money you have to work with, what your risk tolerances are. That's what determines what time frames you trade off of. But so there we gave you a sort of bigger picture, that zoomed out one. Well, hopefully you can see that, you know, 3 reasons to take a trade. We have OTE, right? Boom, reason number 1. Reason number 2, in this case, we're going to switch that from bull divergence to bear divergence, right? Bear momentum divergence, boom, reason number 2. Reason number 3, market structure. Can everybody see this? Hello, M top. Bang. Isn't that interesting? 3 reasons for a trade. You go short there, right? Because you're thinking about 2 to 1 and you want to keep Brian happy. Brian doesn't want to be worried at night about you blowing your account up, and making sure that you're taking appropriate risk, right? So there's your stop right up top there above the M top. And I mean, you can manually adjust the trade as you go along. Interesting to see, just off of this level here, that's a 1.8 risk reward. You know, I mean, that just so happens to be the low. Maybe you moved your stop based on higher highs and higher lows, and you just got stopped out at 1.32 risk reward. I don't care. All I care is that your average winners are bigger than your average losers. All right, so why don't we leave the presentation at that? Maybe our next webinar will go into the other technical tools that we've done the tutorials off of, and we'll talk then on those. How does that sound?
Sounds great to me. Well,
All right,
thanks
Julian.
everybody. Brian, you have to plug your website too. Don't forget.
I know. Well, see now I bring the muscle in. So Julian, it's your turn.
Okay, well, thank you, Brian, very much. So let me just share my screen real quick, and we'll jump over to our website for 5 minutes. So here we go. Here's our website, the homepage. You can read about what we offer, our different features. So we offer a general site membership, which we call the Gold membership. And I'm just going to take you through a quick walkthrough of kind of what you get with the Gold membership. And we will be, just like Coinigy's adding features, we're continually adding features and listening to feedback. Our biggest feature is definitely our Crypto Live Room, where we have the TradingView, our free TradingView chat, which anyone can go to. Just look us up on TradingView. And then we have our special Crypto Brain chat room. You can see there's a bunch of people in here just talking away, all our users that are online, and we also have special notifications for when Brian sends a tweet and a couple different things happen. Oscar helped us setting this up, so thank you very much, Oscar, if you're listening. And then you can always scroll down, and we have TradingView embedded, so just to use real quick. We should probably add a Coinigy one too, huh, Brian?
We'll work it out, guys.
Yeah. Well, and
then we have.
The only thing I'll just say, Julian, is I understand technology is moving so fast. The irony of it all is that in 6 months we may be using Coinigy's charting program and not TradingView's, right?
We might be. Who knows?
That's
So then we
very
also
much a
have.
possibility.
Brian puts together different member videos on like a I'd say about a weekly basis. And then if you jump over here as a member, you can go to our trading models. So right now we have our latest model we just added is the S&P 500 retirement model. So if you have a 401k, any kind of account where you're saving money for retirement, follow this model. All we use is a really simple setup, and it's all kind of automated, and we're working on we're going to send out automatic notifications. So as you can see, a buy and hold strategy from 2000 had a return of 1,400, while our model had a return of $2,563, and that's on a starting balance again of $1,000. So we beat out buy and holds by over 100%. So that's just a really simple model that you guys could follow in your retirement accounts. So we don't just do Bitcoin. We also are branching out to do the regular market, as Brian mentioned. He comes from, the big guys, the big market. He doesn't just come. He didn't originally start in Bitcoin. So this is a feature that a lot of people have asked about, and we're adding, and we're also working on a couple algorithms that we hope to have up and running within the next few weeks. That are going to trade not only give you trade alerts on Bitcoin, whether you want a daily trades, or you want to take weekly trades, or you only want to take trades every 6 months or something. We're going to have those algorithms running to give you different trade ideas. Here's our Crypto Daily blog that you also get as a gold member. So Brian just created. He does a quarterly report on the S&P 500 for the retirement model, and so you would have been able to look at this. So this is our Q2 report. You can look at it on here, or you can open it for a bigger view. And he also does post on all of his trades in altcoin. We're going to be adding an altcoin trading model as well, which you could follow. So here's just a couple of his recent posts on the site. And that's your basic gold membership that you get, and you can sign up for that by going to our homepage, and you can just click right at the top. Right as soon as it loads, the homepage is kind of a little big, so click right here to register, and it'll take you right here, and you can sign up. You can choose monthly, quarterly, or annual. The annual is obviously the cheapest, and it goes up from there by a per monthly cost. Like I said, you get access to our Crypto Live trading room and a couple other features. Now, let me jump to the school. So the big thing is our school. A lot of people really like our school. We have an average of between 15 and 20 students every quarter. And we've received a lot of excellent feedback, and Brian's been working every quarter to continually refine the school. You get a 12-week course, and you also get 1 hour of Brian's personal time every week to go over anything you want to go over. I mean, Brian is happy to talk about any topic related to trading that you're interested in. I mean, he prefers to stick to the course material, but I think Brian, you have talked about other topics with members relating to trading that they were interested in and help them. So
Yeah, yeah.
you know, if you don't mind, I mean, I think you can explain the course a little bit better than I can. So if you want to just go over it for maybe 2 minutes about what you teach over those 12 weeks.
Sure. I don't know how we're doing on time, guys. Is this thing gonna end abruptly at 1 hour?
No, I think we're in control. I think we can go as long as we want.
All right. I think what I found is that I keep in mind, everybody, I've been doing this for like 25 years. I learned this from the School of Hard Knocks. And it's interesting to hear people talk about wanting to trade and be a professional trader and trade for a living when times are good, right? And we're in bull markets and everything, and we're, say, in a trending market and use trending strategies. Unfortunately, right, through my experience as a broker, what I see, or what I saw, and actually I still do see, and like, say, the general TradingView chat, is people, they obviously want a big reward quickly, and they often take risks that are just far too great and appropriate. And unfortunately, when things start to go poorly, they start to act very erratically. And ironically enough, they are just being the humans that they're supposed to be. If you think about it, in nature, we've been running around this planet for hundreds of thousands of years, right? Our best defense often was just to run away, right? And bury your head in the sand and try and hope that we just get through this. When unfortunately in trading, right, we have to take a bit more professional approach, and we're talking about money here, and we have to be very serious. So what I find happens, and unfortunately the economic cycle is basically designed to do this, is that when the economy is rocking and rolling, people are making money. They see the stock market is up. They see things like cryptocurrencies are flying, and they want to get in and they want to participate. What they don't realize, unfortunately, kind of like that tutorial and what you see on the screen here, is there are actually very specific levels that the quote-unquote smart money actually targets. And what you need to understand, and again, we're talking about money, so this is serious stuff, is that quite often in this world people will do things that are not very friendly. They're not very nice when it comes to money. So what I do in my school is really I give you the straight goods, right? I mean, let's call a spade, understand what we're dealing with. I like to give everybody a good background of what it is, what's the current backdrop, or of the financial markets, and why are we interested in cryptocurrencies. There is a specific reason why cryptocurrencies are acting the way they are. If you understand the big picture, what cryptocurrencies represents actually makes a lot of sense. So it's really important for me and for people that I teach that you have that foundation. At the same time, we need to understand that as traders, we're really running a small business here. So they often say that 80 to 90% of all small businesses fail. They fail for very specific reasons. They do things like they spend all their money right away. Turns out that there are some successful people in this world, the Bill Gateses and the Henry Fords of the world, right? And it turns out that they also did very specific, very common attributes and behaviors. And so what I really want to highlight to my students are what are some of those behaviors? Can we identify some of those qualities and traits in ourselves and set ourselves up through our trading plan to succeed, right? And then also at the same time, are there any areas that, hey, maybe we need a bit of work, right? And part of my job as an educator is to go to that uncomfortable place. A lot of people, a lot of my students, it can sometimes be awkward conversations, but the sooner you look in the mirror and you identify who you are and what your strengths and weaknesses are, and let's build a plan to address those and help you succeed, the far better off you're going to be in this world. So a lot of what I teach is psychological, right? Turns out that in trading, a lot of trading has to do with what goes on in your brain and less what goes on in the market. At the same time, like as I demonstrated in this tutorial here tonight for you, we as traders, we're always seeking this concept of edge, right? We got to have our edge. What's our edge? What tilts the statistics in our favor? So, a principle like things having like 3 solid independent reasons to take a trade, that distinctly tilts that edge in our favor. So through my school through our school and the school programs, I'm constantly talking about refining our setups, working with setups, being disciplined, waiting for those setups to fire, right? And then when the setups fire, we act in a very mechanical fashion, right? When we consider a trade, hopefully you guys can understand even just from this picture that you have on the screen right here. The moment I put on a trade, I already know exactly where I'm going to get in, I know exactly where I'm going to get stopped out, and I know exactly what my profit target is. So really, hopefully you can understand that working with setups, working with a trading plan, we're relieving a lot of the anxiety people go through in the trading process. And just to finish off, I actually posted I had a marketing specialist a while ago, review my program, and she said to me, Brian, there's just one simple question that you have to answer. And that is, what pain do you relieve for your customers? I mean, that's really the bottom line. And I posed that question to people that had taken the course, and the response was resounding. Frankly, I was actually a bit shocked, where they just said, Brian, now I can sleep at night. You don't understand what you've given me. You've given me peace of mind. I know what I'm doing now. I know what to actually look for. I mean, the irony of this game, like this OTE principle, is that there are specific levels that the big boys are hunting. And through taking our course and learning our information, you join that group. As opposed to fighting that group, you are now going to be a part of that group. So we completely change. In fact, I tell people, you'll never look at the market the same way again if you take my program. You just never will. You'll never look at investing. You'll never look at any asset. You'll never look at the hype that you hear on TV. You'll never look at those silly talking heads that you see on CNBC. You'll never look at it the same way again. And that's my sales pitch.
I think that was pretty good.
I'm sold.
Yeah, everybody, Rob is actually going to be taking the course this upcoming quarter.
William is, I think, actually.
Sorry, William.
Yeah, we're not going to have both hands doing it at once because we have to work on Coinigy as well. But one of us definitely is.
It's all good. It's all good.
And I'm very excited. So. Cool. Well, yeah. I mean, unless there's anything else, I guess we can wrap it up.
Well, does anyone have any questions before we close it out? Anyone, last chance to ask a question?
I'll just say one more thing while people are waiting for questions. I sort of am an oddball in this business. in a weird sort of way, what I'm doing here is trying to provide an incubator for new traders. So people that were really trying to drive, like, say, website sales or something, I go out of my way to really drive home this, one of the key tenets to successful small businesses is this concept of positive mental attitude, or what we call PMA. It's so paramount. And so in a way, this, you see the chat room on my screen here. Think of this as like an incubator. It's a safe place that you can go to where you're not going to have the jerks that do exist out there in the world harassing you. Okay, I'll be quiet now.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining up and watching our presentation, and we'll see you in a couple weeks for the next webinar Wednesday.
Sounds good. All right. Well, thanks, Brian and Julian. I don't think we have any more questions, so I guess that's it.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
You.
All
You
right.
guys have a great evening. Good luck in your trading. All the best. And I'm only a tweet away if you want to ask me a question.
Sounds good.